Coming to you almost live from the Herbert I. Greenberg Studios at WHIG, it's Up Late with Sam Bass.
Thank you, Scott Smith, and thank you, wonderful people, for tuning in to the only show where questionable monologues are delivered with absolute confidence. I'll drink to that. Tonight, we have a phenomenal show. I say that every week, but we do every week. But before we get to our guest of honor, let's take a minute to pay our bills and sing the praises of our presenting sponsor, Sparkling Creations. Sparkling Creations is the Rolls Royce of party rentals. You got a wedding? They got you. Baby shower? You're covered. Church event? Let's just say Sparkling Creations miracles happen. My personal favorite, though, is they have a mechanical bull. And they also have a water slide. So there's nothing that amuses people more at a family reunion when the drunk uncle gets on the mechanical bull and gets launched onto the slide. Trust me, it's poetry in motion. You can get it all right here at their location at 976 North Winstead Avenue, or you can check them out at asparklingcreation.com. So if you want to take the party to another notch, head over to Wilson and stop by my good friend Phil Sabella's legendary record store, Phil's Record Exchange. This place is the mothership of vinyl, cassettes, DVDs, video games, and even 8-tracks. Remember those? If not, please pretend you do, because it makes me feel really old. But here's a tip. Tell them that Sam sent me, and Phil will reward you with an extra stamp on his loyalty card, a little Phil head on your loyalty card. So, 10 stamps, you get $10 off. Boom, it's a miracle. So, I would really love to see Phil's head stamped all over both Rocky Mount and Wilson. So swing by Phil's Record Exchange and start stacking up those stamps, and make sure you tell them Sam sent you. Now, let's talk about tonight's guest. He's a local leader, a hometown hero, and quite possibly, we'll have to ask him, he's browsed Phil's Record Exchange at least once in his life. This is Wilson's very own North Carolina Representative Dante Pittman is here. So speaking of Wilson, with a T, let's talk about what it's known for. Wilson is known for tobacco, barbecue, Dick's hot dog stand, and a notable personality or two. So I put together my official top 5 list of Wilson's most notable claims to fame. Here goes. Number 5, Ava Gardner, the ultimate Hollywood femme fatale. Technically, she was born in Johnston County, right next to Wilson, but she briefly studied in Wilson, went to Atlantic Christian College, known now as Barton, and she was once married to one of my idols, Frank Sinatra. Ava has some thoughts on Frank. Particularly, she was asked, why would she be interested in this little guy that weighed 119 pounds? I can't repeat it here, but it was something to do with 19 pounds of his anatomy. Go Google it, folks, it happened. But be prepared to clutch your pearl necklace. Number 4, the Whirligig Park. So this is not a person, but it's very notable. This park has about 30 massive wind-driven sculptures made from found materials. It's like a playground for adults. Now, I have to dare you to see what happens if you add a glass of bourbon to the mix. I tried this after going to see the Bakelite Boys one night at their weekly Monday night jam session. Just be careful, a few sips, you might find yourself trying to dance with a whirligig. I would not recommend doing this, not that I have tried. You may just be swept off your feet, not in a romantic kind of way. Why are you giving me that look? I've never tried to dance with a whirligig. Watch it, Jamie. Speaking of the Bakelite Boys, number 3, the Bakelite Boys, a Monday night downtown institution. The Bakelite Boys are local legends in Wilson. They have even appeared on this show. If you ever find yourself at one of their shows, grab you some liquid courage, because they'll allow you to get up there and do some karaoke if you want to. and you possibly be prepared to find yourself at the Whirligig Park. Just saying. Number 2, Sam Bass. That name sounds familiar. Did you know that Wilson, North Carolina is the home of Sam Bass, the legendary late night talk show host of Up Late with Sam Bass? Did you know that? He's known for his on-air bourbon drinking and subsequent loss of coherency and legendary bloopers. Let's take a look.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, I want to thank my special guest, North Carolina Representative Alan. God, I can't talk, Alan. All right, you ready? I can actually identify with this one a little bit. We'll leave it there. Woo, that was good. All right, sorry about that. Can you bleep that out? Sorry. That apple juice is strong. That guy looks a lot like me. Maybe a tad more handsome. So, we're to number 1. Wilson's number 1 notable claim to fame. Let me throw this card, get ready for class to break. Number 1, Gregory Walcott. Have you heard of him? He starred in over 50 films and hundreds of TV shows, but his most famous role? The lead in Plan 9 from Outer Space. Widely considered the worst movie ever made, so bad it was good. I've seen it, it's great. There's a movie called Ed Wood that's about this movie, so check out both of them. So just imagine, you've worked with Clint Eastwood multiple times, only to be remembered for a film where flying saucers were clearly paper plates on strings. That's like having the best late night show in Rocky Mount, some of the best guests, only to be remembered for the time you choked up on your words or on your bourbon. Thanks for bringing that up again, Jamie, by the way. Sit tight, we'll be right back with Dante Pittman.
If you're planning a party, wedding, birthday party, baby shower, or corporate event, Sparkling Creations can make it memorable for you. With tents, tables, bouncy houses, and more. We can even provide a fire pit for outdoor events. If you want to be adventurous, we have a mechanical bull. You name the event, and Sparkling Creations has you covered. Located at 976 North Winstead Avenue, Sparkling Creations, where we make every event sparkle.
Phil's Music Exchange of Wilson offers thousands of vinyl LPs, CDs, cassettes, 8 tracks. They even have reel-to-reels, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, video games, an abundance of music for the music lover. Check them out today. Phil's Music Exchange in Tarboro, 207 West Tarboro Street, downtown Wilson, or philsmusicexchange.com.
Welcome back, and as promised, Representative Dante Pittman is here. Dante, thank you so much for taking your time to join us.
I tell you, it's a pleasure to be here. Look, this is the most fun thing I've done all day.
Well, we have some politicians. We don't like to do politics, but we do have some politicians. So we're going to start a fun little game.
Okay.
Don't be scared.
All right.
Of true or false. Are you up for that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so true or false. Before getting into politics, you were a professional dog whisperer specializing in Labrador retrievers. Is that true?
False.
Okay, we got another David Crabtree here. So it's false. But you do like dogs.
I love dogs.
Do you have animals, pets?
I have 2 dogs and a cat, and I told my wife we're done. We can't have any more in the house or else somebody's got to go out, and she said, I hope you enjoy pitching a tent.
Well, we're dog people too at my house, and I get it. I love them, and part of the family.
That's right.
Okay, another one. True or false? You recently showed a pig in a showcase at Wilson County Fairgrounds.
That is absolutely true, and I want you to know I finished in 5th place out of 5 contestants.
That's really good. So tell me about the pig. What was it? I hope his name wasn't Oscar Mayer, was it?
No, it wasn't. I'll tell you, this pig was the smartest thing that you would ever. And my wife, when she saw that picture, she said, "I hope you know in that picture, I married the least smart thing in that picture." But this pig, it was just gigantic. But I had a wonderful coach. He told me all that I needed to do. The problem was we got in that ring, and the pig didn't listen to me a thing in the world.
Well, they say pigs are really smart, so,
Yeah.
so we'll go with that. Okay, so were you more nervous on the house floor or making sure your pig put on a good show?
Oh, easy. The pig.
That wasn't a true or false, by the way. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that I told the folks there at Wilson County 4-H, I could not remember being more nervous than before I went out there with that pig. I just had a feeling he was going to make a fool out of me. And what they don't tell you is that if you're the first one in the ring like I was, you don't go out for 2 minutes and then come back and the next one comes in. You were out there the entirety of the event. So my pig, I think, got a little ornery. I think he was tired of looking at me, tired of listening to me, and had a mind of his own.
That's awesome. So this is another one. This is true or false. You are known for your ability to recite the entire North Carolina State Constitution from memory.
Who lied to you about that one? That's not even close.
That was the most gentle ring
Well,
I think we've ever gotten there.
Well, I would tell you that if I could do that, then I would need to be getting in a better line of work that paid me more than the North Carolina House.
Some with a memory involved. Okay, got a couple more.
All right.
You are married to a pop star. Okay, you're not married to a pop star, but you're recently married. Is that correct?
That is true. Lucy and I, we got married November of 2023. So I tell people all the time, we got married after we announced that we were going to run for office. So I'll let you decide who has the worst judgment, her or me.
Okay, a couple more. True or false, you have met President Bill Clinton.
That is absolutely true. He came to Wilson during the course of the 2024 campaign. And I tell people the coolest moment of that campaign was I got to introduce my mama to President Bill Clinton.
That is very cool. I actually met him one time myself.
Very personable guy.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that before he went to the event, we saw him at Bojangles. He stopped to get him a biscuit there, and I thought that half of Wilson flooded to go see him.
That is very good. So, one more.
Okay.
True or false, you were recently seen in a state trooper's vehicle. Is that true?
That is true, but I want to clear it up for your viewers. I was not in trouble. They had their legislative day out, and I got to take a spin around the track. And let me tell you, those instructors know exactly what they're doing. Made me a little nervous because he's sitting there going 80 or 90 miles an hour around curves, and he's sitting here talking to me like we're friends. And I told him, keep your eyes on the road, man. I'm not trying to go into those trees, but we were really proud to go out there and see some of the awesome equipment that they have.
Very good. I got friends that are state troopers. They're awesome guys. So there is another true or false, I forgot. You started a Tuesday night tug of war game with other representatives from General Assembly. Is that true?
That is false, but close.
Okay.
Every Tuesday night, we have a few folks that get together and play some basketball. So that's something I've always enjoyed doing, and I played it when I was at Fike High School. And, you know, it's just a chance to get out there, run up and down the court, and we try to make sure we don't throw too many elbows at one another.
Well, legislative, that's hard to say. Basketball sounds like a slam dunk to me. But Alan Chesser's a tall guy.
He is, and I'm afraid that his skill level, I've never seen him play, but something about it tells me that he might be able to get on the court and show you something.
So who do you think's got the best jump shot in the General Assembly? You?
No, I would not say me. I would say there's a state senator, he's also in his first term, Caleb T. Eldris from Charlotte. He's an athletic guy, got a great jump shot, but I tell him all the time, and I have to guard him, if you feel this elbow in your back, just know it wasn't me.
Okay, we're going to get into serious stuff now. So your journey from Wilson County to the North Carolina House of Representatives is very inspiring. What are some of the key moments that have shaped your path the most?
Yeah, well, That's a really good question. I'll tell you, I was born and raised in Wilson, and I had some phenomenal educators and teachers, folks that really took an interest in me, that cared about me, showed me the ropes. But one of the things that I often tell people is that, this isn't the kind of business that you come out of the womb knowing how to do and where to start. And I'll never forget that Mrs. Betty Ray McCain, one time, we had an event at Something Different in Wilson, and Senator Kay Hagan was coming. And I, had worked for the senator, volunteering in the county and whatnot, and I got invited to come, and I was standing over there, and she said, "Have you met the senator yet?" And I said, Mrs. McCain, no, she's here to meet more important folks, this and that. I was in high school at the time. And she said, "Nonsense." She grabbed me by the arm, pulled me to the front, and told Senator Hagan, "You need to listen to this young man because he's the future." And I will tell you that I have never forgotten it. She was a wonderful woman that cared about people. Now it's just one story of her lifting somebody up so they'd have an opportunity.
I always kind of thought she was like the Aunt Bee of Wilson.
Yes, everybody loved her.
Yeah.
Aside from politics, it didn't matter what side of the aisle you were on. She was just a good person and the funniest person that you'd ever meet.
Yeah, good lady. But you joined Barton College in 2024 as a grant writer, is that correct?
That's exactly right.
So would you be interested in writing for this show? Because we may need some new writers.
Well,
Come on.
I don't want to get in the middle of anything here, but I say you got something good going.
We're going to move on. So you represent District 24. That's like 99.9% Wilson County and just a little bit of Nash County.
That's exactly right. I have all of Wilson County, and then I have the Sharpsburg precinct of Nash County.
Just enough to make Alan Chesser mad.
Well, I think that he thinks that we needed a touch of Nash just to make us a little bit better.
There you go. There you go. So you've introduced a lot of bills since you've been in office. If you could collaborate with any historical figure to address current issues, who would it be and what issue would it be? It's a hard question.
That's a hard question. But I'll tell you that it would be Governor Jim Hunt. I tell people all the time, not only is he a hero of mine and a mentor, but he's also my constituent. And one of the things that I'm just so impressed by was his tenacious regard for education. Right. I mean, always focusing on what can we do to make sure we lift up our teachers, ultimately to serve our students. Right. So you know what? I still have the opportunity. I might just have to go out to Rock Ridge and talk to him about a bill and see if I can get his name on there. There
you go. I've met Governor Hunt a few times. Super nice guy. Very much a people person.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind putting himself out there.
That's exactly right.
So I want to ask you, is there any possibility you might be able to introduce a bill to ban pickleball?
Not if I want to continue living in Wilson, I'll tell you that. That just wouldn't work.
We're kind of anti-pickleball around here, folks, but y'all already know that. So we're going to move on. You were actually on CNN a little while back during the presidential debate. Tell me about that.
Well,
was that your first time on TV? National TV? Not.
Yes, I believe so, that it was my first time. And, I have to say, we love the folks that are on national television, this and that. But I got up there and I found myself in a situation where I was trying to be put in a tight position where I'd told them I wasn't going to go. And so I had to show them what we do in Eastern North Carolina, and we're not going to go there. We're very polite, but we hold firm.
There you go. So that's impressive, though. You got on CNN as a very, very young candidate. So.
Well, we do appreciate the opportunity. I will say I'm a little more partial to our local folks because they know how we do it here, but it was a wonderful opportunity to get to represent our area up there and tell folks what we think.
There you go. So as a young man yourself who's already worked so hard to serve the community, what's a piece of advice you'd give to other young people in Eastern North Carolina who aspire to make a difference in their communities?
Well, I love that question because we need people to step up. The one thing I always tell folks is you need to make sure you know your community.
Right.
A lot of us, when we grow up in a place, we think we know the community, but the truth is that you know your experience. Mm-hmm. So you need to get involved on nonprofit boards, government boards, making sure that you are visiting different events with the Chamber of Commerce, so that you are seeing different perspectives of your community. And that's whether you want to run for office or whether you want to serve in an appointed capacity. But just making sure that you know you have a well-rounded view of what your community needs and what it is. And if I truly believe if you have a love of people, then we need you in this public process.
So what's the one thing you would think you took away, from stepping into public office?
Well, a lot of folks think that once you are elected that you make a lot of money and you're living the big life. Right. I remind them that at the state legislature we have a salary of $13,951. So I appreciate this drink here because I might not be able to afford it on my own. But what I remind folks is that you don't do it for the money. You don't do it for any of the accolades. You do it because you want to make a problem or a set of problems better. And I get the chance to do that, so I'm the luckiest person there is.
So I've got another question, one more. So where do you see yourself going from here? Like the big leagues, like Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel? I'm just kidding. I mean, politically, because I think you may be the next Obama.
I don't think that. I can tell you. Somebody asked me not too long ago, they said, well, what do you think about Washington? I think that place isn't very good, and I don't think it's got a spot for me.
There you go.
I enjoy being close to home. I enjoy serving the people of my district and representing them at the state level, and frankly, that's all I'm looking to do right now.
Well, I got to say, I know you're a young guy, but I hear so many good things about you. And a lot of the young people I know, my daughter's age, I know you went to high school with my daughter and some of her friends, and they're very high on you as a person. You're very charismatic, which is a great thing for politics. But I could see you doing a lot more than what you're talking about doing. And I know it's one step at a time. You got to get the next office up, the next office up. I mean, you could be the governor one day. Do you think that?
Well, I don't know about that either, because I'll tell you that my wife has reminded me that when I was elected, that was the third job that I picked up. Aside from Barton and now serving in the North Carolina House, I'm a captain in the National Guard. And she said, I married someone that I would like to see occasionally. So I need to make sure that those commitments close to home are taken care of first, and that I keep my wife happy, because when all this political thing is done, it's going to be her and I in the end. So I need to make sure I take care of those responsibilities.
So tell me a little bit about your time in the National Guard.
So I first joined the National Guard December of 2015. And I'll tell you, when I first joined, I thought, man, I might do this for a couple of years and that's it. Well, here we are 10 years later. I'm still serving as a transportation officer. I'm a captain, and I'm enjoying my time with it. So, it's something that I got into because I wanted not only to be able to help our nation when we had issues overseas, but with the National Guard, you get to help folks right here in your backyard in the state of North Carolina. And that's really what caught my eye.
Things like hurricane relief and things like that.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, when we had the hurricane come through in 2018, I had just commissioned as a lieutenant, and I served my first drill. Barely knew how to tie my boots, right? And I got the call and they said, we need you for this hurricane response. And so, not really knowing what I was doing, hopped in the car and went there, learned a ton, and got to see the importance of working alongside emergency management. There's some things that are coming up in the legislature now, and I tell people we need to work together, because our folks in emergency management, they're the real deal.
I love hearing work together. That's a great thing in politics, that you don't hear it much.
That's right. I fully agree with you.
So I'm going to ask you one last question.
Okay.
Okay. So I ask every guest almost that comes on here. So I've got a little place in my backyard called Sam's Shack. So if I were to ask you, what would be one drink, one cigar, or anything you want to smoke legally, and one album side, even though I'm not sure about that asking you, because I know you're very young. I don't even know if you're old enough to drink, even though you are.
Don't call Sheriff Stone.
We won't. What would those three things be?
So I would tell you, we do have a record player in my house. It was a gift from our grandparents, and it has been a wonderful joy to have, because it was a new experience for me. A Prince album, Purple Rain. I'm a huge Prince fan, and that's what we would be playing. We would have some old Raleigh whiskey. Actually, they have their distillery in Zebulon, if I'm remembering correctly. I've been to it. Wonderful spot. And then I would tell you that when we went to, let me see, it wasn't our honeymoon, it was our vacation this past year. We got away for our 1-year anniversary. I got some cigars right there down in Mexico. And I was having the time of my life, so I might bring you one of those.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. So look, I want to really thank you so much for coming. This has been fantastic. You're a great guest. You're a great guy in the community. and we really enjoyed seeing your growth, and I know you're going to grow a lot more. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Like I said, I told you earlier, we're 4-0 for politicians, so we're going to keep that 5-0.
Well, I think I might know the secret to it.
That
Thanks
is.
for having me.
Thanks for coming. We'll be right back. Hey, I want to thank my special guest tonight, Dante Pittman, NC Representative from Wilson County, for coming on tonight. Great guy, great interview. Next time, I'm telling you, we're not a political show, but we will be having the mayor of Rocky Mount, Mayor Sandy Robertson, will be right here, almost live. Thanks for watching. See you soon.